The bell rings and the world begins to move. Screens flash, voices rise, the chart surges in every direction, and every trader feels the same thing. That rush, that pulse, that whisper inside saying, "Don't miss it." But here's the truth. The open isn't about opportunity, it's about psychology. It's the moment when adrenaline disguises itself as awareness and impulse wears the mask of confidence. Every trader wants to master the market's first move, but few ever realize the opening drive isn't testing your strategy, it's testing your state of mind. This is Mind Over Markets, and this is your one-page playbook opening drive, a guide to mastering chaos by mastering yourself. The bell rings, the market opens, and in an instant, everything you thought you knew about control disappears. You tell yourself you're ready. You've studied the levels, the zones, the overnight flow. You've prepared your plan. But the moment that first candle forms, your heart does something your plan never accounted for. It speeds up. You watch price explode in both directions. Volume surges, screens flash. The sound of opportunity fills the room. And for a brief second, you feel it, the rush. The same rush that makes every trader believe this time will be different. But it isn't. Because the opening drive doesn't test your system. It tests your state of mind. Every open is chaos wrapped in certainty. It convinces you that speed equals opportunity, that movement equals clarity. But the truth is, at the open, clarity is nowhere to be found. All you see are reactions, emotion, noise, and inside that noise you feel a pull, a subtle whisper inside your mind. Don't miss it. This is the move. You know where it's going. That's not intuition. That's adrenaline. It's not awareness. It's impulse dressed as confidence. The open doesn't reveal setups. It reveals addiction, the addiction to motion, the craving for validation, the belief that if you act fast enough, you'll somehow catch certainty before it escapes. But you never do. You can't, because the first move isn't truth. It's temptation. Every trader remembers their first perfect open, the time they caught a massive move. Right off the bell felt like they decoded the rhythm of the market itself. And ever since they've been chasing that same feeling. Not profit, not structure, that feeling. That's the trap. The open gives you just enough reward to make you forget how dangerous it is. It gives you confidence without confirmation. It gives you movement without meaning. So you sit there every morning ready to repeat the same ritual, eyes fixed, hands tense, waiting for the explosion. And when it happens, you react. You always react. Because the human brain isn't built for silence after anticipation. It wants release. It wants action. But trading isn't about release. It's about restraint. The opening drive separates those who chase control from those who embody it. Because in those first chaotic minutes, the market is pure emotion, unfiltered, unstructured, unmerciful. It's a mirror showing you exactly who you are when faced with uncertainty. Are you patient enough to let the noise burn out? Are you calm enough to watch opportunity pass by without panic? Can you trust that waiting is an action, that doing nothing is also a trade? That's the psychology of the open. It's not about speed. It's about survival. Not about prediction, but preparation. Every trader enters the open with a plan. Few exit it with their mind intact. Because when that bell rings, something primal awakens the need to move, to react, to prove that you belong in the chaos. You don't want to watch the market, you want to feel it. But that's where danger hides. The open feeds your ego while starving your discipline. It tells you you can handle this speed, but speed without clarity is chaos with conviction. So you click, you enter, and for a few seconds it feels perfect until the candle flips the move stalls and your breath shortens. Now you're trapped in the very energy you tried to master. You stare at the screen trying to rationalize what just happened, but deep down you know It wasn't the chart that beat you. It was the moment you confused adrenaline for awareness. That's why the best traders don't chase the open, they study it. They observe it like a scientist watching fire, knowing that one wrong move can burn everything they've built. They understand something most traders never learn. The first 15 minutes of the session aren't for profit. They're for observation. They're not there to make you money. They're there to test your patience. Because whoever you are emotionally before the open is exactly who you'll become when it begins. You can't fake calm under pressure. You can only train it. And that's where the one-page playbook begins, not in strategy, but in self-control. This isn't a plan for faster entries or secret indicators. It's a system for slowing down your mind while the market speeds up around you. Because mastery at the open isn't about timing the first move. It's about managing the first emotion. The professional doesn't compete with chaos. He waits until chaos exposes its weakness. He waits until the adrenaline fades and the truth of direction begins to reveal itself. That's the edge you never see in tutorials or textbooks. It's not technical, it's psychological. Because the open isn't about predicting the market. It's about managing the human reaction to movement. And if you can do that, if you can stand inside the noise and remain still, then every session begins to look different. You stop chasing the open. You start mastering it. You stop searching for signals. You start recognizing emotion. And slowly the chaos that used to scare you becomes your teacher. The opening drive isn't an opportunity to act fast. It's an invitation to think slowly, to breathe deeply, to see clearly. Because in those first few minutes, the market shows you everything it is and everything you are. The market open is not a beginning. It's a mirror. It reflects everything you brought with you. Your confidence, your fear, your hunger, your need for control. That's why the opening drive is dangerous. Because it doesn't test your system, it exposes your psychology. And the only way to navigate it is through structure, not a complicated one. Just one page, simple, clear, repeatable. The one-page playbook opening drive isn't about speed. It's about rhythm. It's about building an emotional framework strong enough to survive volatility. It starts long before the bell rings. It begins with step 1, pre-open bias. Before the market opens, you prepare your context. You define the story the market is telling. Where did price travel overnight? What levels mattered yesterday? Where are the trapped traders likely to be this morning? You're not predicting direction, you're preparing awareness. You're tuning your mind to the rhythm of the day before the noise begins. Because when you're grounded in context, you don't get lost in motion. The market at the open is a storm, and your pre-open bias is your compass. But here's the truth, even the best preparation can vanish in one candle. That's why you need step 2, the opening zone. The opening zone is your boundary between observation and action. It's the invisible box where you promise yourself not to react. Most traders lose money in this space because they confuse motion with opportunity. They see the spike, the breakout, the flush, and they forget that the first move rarely tells the truth. The opening zone is where emotion burns itself out. It's where liquidity hunts and volume traps are born. It's where the market reveals not what it wants, but who's in control. Your job here is simple wait. Wait for the dust to settle. Wait for emotion to finish speaking. Because only when the noise ends does the signal begin. 2 minutes of stillness can save hours of regret. That's the rule professionals live by. But waiting doesn't mean disengaging. You watch, you observe, you collect information without attachment. Because patience isn't passive, it's preparation in silence. Then comes step 3, the confirmation trigger. This is where observation turns into intention. You're not reacting anymore, you're responding. The open has revealed its hand, and now you look for alignment, price volume, and conviction. When the fake moves fade, when the emotional volume dies, when the direction begins to stabilize, that's your signal. You don't chase it. You let it come to you. Because the difference between professionals and amateurs isn't analysis, it's timing. And real timing isn't about speed. It's about synchronization. It's about letting the market breathe before you do. The confirmation trigger isn't an indicator. It's an emotional cue the moment you feel calm in the middle of movement. It's that quiet internal shift when the market stops shouting and you start listening. And when that moment arrives, you act not out of fear, not out of excitement, but out of alignment. That's where consistency lives, not in the perfect entry, but in the perfect mindset before the entry. Finally, there's step 4, the mindset reminder. It's the smallest part of the playbook, but it's the line that holds everything together. At the bottom of your page, write something simple, something you believe enough to follow when adrenaline takes over. Maybe it's fast markets reward slow minds, or the first move is noise, or even I trade awareness, not adrenaline. This line is your anchor, because when the chart explodes, your biology will betray you. Your breathing will quicken. Your thoughts will race. You'll feel that familiar surge, the need to do something. That's when you look at the bottom of your page and you remember the open isn't a competition, it's a conversation. And the market always speaks first. Your job is to listen. This one page, this simple personal compass, isn't about predicting moves. It's about managing yourself while they happen. You don't need more information, you need more intention, because during the open, information comes faster than your mind can process. But intention, that's the one thing you control. The more volatile the market becomes, the slower you must think, because chaos is just order moving too fast. So while others chase the first candle, you wait for the second that confirms it. While they trade their adrenaline, you trade your patience. While they react, you observe. This is the paradox of the open. The slower you move, the faster you progress. The less you chase, the more you catch. That's what the One-Page Playbook teaches you, to build clarity out of movement and discipline out of emotion. Because every tick, every spike, every whip is just the market asking a question. Are you ready to act, or are you just reacting? When you can answer that question honestly, the open becomes your teacher. You stop fearing volatility. You start seeing rhythm. You stop chasing opportunity. You start creating it. And in that shift, something profound happens. You realize that the opening drive isn't chaos at all. It's choreography. Every move has meaning. Every fake out has intention. Every reversal has a purpose. But only the calm can see it. The calm trader doesn't predict the market's next move. He predicts his own response to it. That's the essence of mastery, not controlling the chart, but controlling the mind that reads it. And once you understand that the open will never feel fast again, because speed only overwhelms those who are still racing themselves. Every trader loves the open, the speed, the movement, the rush. But few realize what they're actually chasing. They think they're chasing opportunity, but in truth, they're chasing a chemical, adrenaline. The same chemical that made our ancestors run from danger now makes traders run toward risk. It feels powerful, addictive, alive. But it's not clarity, it's chaos disguised as control. Adrenaline tells you you're in the zone. It makes your hands steady and your heart race. It convinces you that you're alert, focused, ready. But what it really does is narrow your vision. It makes you tunnel in on movement. It silences logic and amplifies instinct. And that's why the opening drive feels like gravity. You can't escape it, because it doesn't just pull your eyes to the screen, it pulls your awareness out of balance. In that state, you no longer trade probabilities. You trade emotion. You start seeing patterns that aren't there, reading meaning into noise, confusing movement for momentum, and urgency for opportunity. That's what the market does at the open. It reveals the part of you that craves control. But here's the paradox. The moment you try to control the market, you lose control of yourself. Every great trader eventually learns this. They stop trying to dominate the open and start dancing with it. They stop asking, where is price going, and start asking, where is my mind right now? Because your state determines your success, not your setup. You can trade the same strategy as someone else, use the same tools, the same levels, the same data, and still lose. Not because you don't know what to do, but because you weren't in the right state to do it. The mind that enters the open scattered will find chaos. The mind that enters calm will find rhythm. That's why professionals move slower in fast markets. It's not hesitation, it's awareness. They know that the market's first scream of volatility is just emotion searching for balance. And they wait for that balance to appear. They don't react to the noise, they respond to the silence that follows, because silence is where truth hides. If you can learn to wait through the first wave of emotion, you start to see the structure behind the storm. You see the levels that matter, the liquidity that shifts, the exhaustion that forms when emotion runs out. And that's where your opportunity lives, not in the rush, but in the release. When you slow down, the market slows down with you. You start noticing the rhythm of volume, the pace of transitions, the subtle hesitation before reversals. You see the psychology written in every candle. That's not analysis. That's awareness. That's trading from the inside out. The open is just a mirror. If you bring fear, you'll see fear. If you bring greed, you'll see greed. If you bring stillness, you'll see flow. That's the secret no one tells you. The chart isn't alive. You are. The movement you feel isn't the market's, it's yours. And once you learn to see that difference, everything changes. The candle that used to scare you becomes a teacher. The volatility that used to overwhelm you becomes your rhythm. And the open that once felt like chaos becomes a test of your composure. Because in truth, the open isn't a battle between buyers and sellers. It's a battle between awareness and impulse. And every morning you decide which side you'll trade from. So before the bell rings tomorrow, before the noise begins, close your eyes, take one slow breath, and remind yourself, I am not here to chase movement. I am here to observe it. That one breath could save you from 100 impulsive clicks, because it separates the professional from the participant. The professional doesn't trade the open. He waits for the open to reveal what others cannot see. When you learn to fade adrenaline with awareness, you stop getting caught in the storm. You become the calm inside it. And that calm, that invisible stillness, is what the market respects most. It rewards patience in a world addicted to motion. It rewards detachment in a world obsessed with excitement. It rewards discipline when everyone else is chasing dopamine. That's what this one-page playbook is really about. It's not a formula for profit. It's a framework for peace, a reminder that consistency isn't built from perfect entries, but from consistent states of mind. Because you cannot control what happens next, but you can control how you meet it. That's the essence of mastery. That's the difference between surviving the open and owning it. The open is chaos, but chaos, when observed calmly, becomes pattern. And pattern, when understood, becomes opportunity. So when the bell rings again and the market moves with fire, don't chase it. Feel it. Observe it. Let it burn itself out. And then when the noise fades and the path becomes clear, move slowly, intentionally, consciously. That's how the professionals do it. They don't rush into the open. They let the open reveal itself to them. Because speed fades, But awareness lasts. The bell will ring again tomorrow. The charts will explode. The crowd will react, and you will breathe. Because you know now the opening drive isn't a test of speed. It's a test of stillness. And in that stillness, you win. This is Mind Over Markets. Trade consciously, move slowly, and let awareness drive your decisions, not adrenaline. The market never stops moving, but mastery isn't found in motion. It's found in stillness. The opening drive comes and goes, a storm of emotion, a test of patience. And while others chase the rush, you've learned to breathe through it. Because the open is not a race, it's a reflection. It shows you who you are when faced with speed, noise, and uncertainty. The amateurs chase the first move. The professionals wait for the truth behind it. The amateurs trade the chart. The masters trade their awareness. Every open is a new beginning, not for the market, but for your mind. So when the bell rings again, don't rush to react. Pause, watch, wait. Because awareness moves slower than price, but it always moves deeper. This is Mind Over Markets. Trade consciously. Breathe with intention. And let stillness become your greatest strategy.